All right. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest, David Anderson from Mimo Monitors. First of all, David, haven't seen you in a minute. How have you been?
Oh, we've been good. I've been good. Yeah. It's
Awesome.
nice that the Chicago weather is starting to become spring.
Oh, yes. Yes. We're kind of experiencing that in North Carolina as well. Tim, are you experiencing the same thing in St. Louis?
We are in St. Louis. We get Chicago weather plus
Ah,
or minus 10 degrees. Um,
how beautiful.
yeah,
As for me, I'm just kind of like doing my best to breathe through the multiple clouds of pollen that I walk through each day to get here. But David, okay, we're very excited to talk to you because Gary and I got an email, I think it was last week, and it was all about how Mimo and its Singlewire Software have announced this integration to overlay visual alerts on HDMI-enabled devices. So this is kind of for Mimo's FlashCast. Can you tell us first a little bit about FlashCast, what it does, how it works?
So FlashCast is a product that we sell relatively small. I guess I should have one here, but I don't. Um,
No
as show and
worries.
tell. But it's a small light IoT device
Mhm.
that is intended to be able to put anything over the top of an HDMI stream. And the idea is to be able to push basically anything, graphics, text, alerts, information, that kind of stuff, over the top of screens that are already installed, right?
Oh, very cool.
So this came out of a conversation with a large customer who wanted to push alerts into their conference rooms.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, very neat. How does the partnership with Singlewire work? How does this further the work that FlashCast already does?
Well, so Flashcast can work on its own
Mhm.
in as much as there's a cloud piece that allow you to control alerting. It's integrated with CAP alerts, so government alerts for weather and things like that. And then of course you can create your own alerts or quick alerts, or we're releasing a mobile app. So it has a bunch of capability on its own, but the hardware is visual only, whereas alerting in general tends to include other things, audio, as you know, visual. It may include other things as well. So, and that's what single wire does that we don't do. I liken it to the big red button. Single wire is the big red button. When you hit the big
Okay.
red button, you want lots of things to happen if it's a major emergency. So you want a message to go up on your screen. You want a message to come out your intercom. You either want to lock or unlock your doors. You want the fire alarm to go off. You may want to text your users. There's lots of things that can happen because things are connected, and that's what single wire brings. So it brings Mimo into a larger infrastructure.
David, you talking about the visual alerting, and obviously we've had audio alerting for a while. Do you see the industry, both from the education standpoint as certainly in government, where the visual alerting is going to become more standard or even best practices?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, it isn't there today, and I think a lot of the reason is because it's been pretty expensive, or it's all dedicated hardware,
Okay.
right? And people don't want to put a secondary screen in a conference room or a classroom or whatever. And even if you do, the cost of that hardware has been relatively high. So we certainly haven't seen that tipping point yet, but I'm hoping that the release of our hardware will create that, because this is hardware that we've been working on for years, literally probably four now, and it has been an iteration of hardware design, and we want to be able to get it to a price point where it really becomes a no-brainer, and it really is a tipping point to everywhere. So in volume, being able to add alerts to any HDMI connected to screen is under $200 per endpoint.
Oh, well.
That's really
Um,
great. That's important also for accessibility, right? Because we talk about like auditory alerts a lot, but not everyone can hear or hear as well as the average person. So, like, do you want to talk a little bit about the accessibility benefits that come with adding visual alerts to your system?
Well, there's, I think, two benefits to adding visual alerts over audio. One is accessibility. Yes, there are people who are hard of hearing and can't hear alerts, but they also can't hear things like morning announcements in schools and things like that, right? There are companies that try to solve that problem as well, but putting it up on the taking over the projector or the big screen or the smart board in the front of a K-12 classroom for a few minutes to put the alerts up there, to put up other important information that may not be critical, like a change to bus schedules or today's lunch or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can just borrow a screen. I liken it to temporary digital signage, right? It's
Oh,
a screen
yeah.
that does what it does what it's supposed to do, but we can take it over temporarily and then just flip it back to whatever it is that screen was supposed to do. And I guess the other important thing is we don't have to do a full screen takeover. We can put up just an icon in the corner or a ticker of text across the bottom, and the rest of it is completely unaffected. Now, to get back to the audio piece, we've been trained through our lives that we know what a fire alarm sounds like. We know what a siren sounds like. We know, for those of us who live in tornado areas, we know what a tornado siren means, right? But God forbid some of the other emergencies, there's no such thing as an active shooter alarm, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and so if something started to beep, you not necessarily know what to do. Whereas if you can see it, then you know you should stay in place or you should get out, or and the other thing with audio is because it's everywhere, it's possible you'd be providing information to people you wouldn't want to provide. So and then other benefits is because it's all zoned, you can push the alert only to the areas that you want. One of the examples that we had, we were talking with UCLA and the fires. It was a perfect use case for our stuff because of the fires, because only part of one campus was affected by the fires in LA. And they didn't want to send a text alert to everybody because it can create panic when it isn't necessary.
Makes sense.
No, that's a really good use case. That's really awesome that this is something that you guys are doing that not everyone has thought of or thought. You guys are kind of really ahead of the game. Is there anything else on the horizon for Mimo right now? Anything else you guys are working on that you can tell me about?
Well, it's the telling you apart.
That's always the tricky part.
We promise we won't tell anybody, David.
Huh? I'm sorry?
I said we promise we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my marketing person would want me to say that InfoComm is coming, so we've got some new announcements to come. On the FlashCast side, we're it's constantly being innovated. We're constantly adding new features. We can update it remotely. We're working right now on adding Wi-Fi to it, so that it's a little easier to be wired or Wi-Fi depending on what your install is. So all that kind of stuff is coming.
Well,
but there's other things from Mimo coming, but we're in a little media blackout.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You just run us the little press release when it goes live. That sounds good. But can't wait to see you at InfoComm. Sounds good, David. And I'm obviously a big fan of your company and everything you guys do. When I have talked to people new to the industry, I've been like, oh, you guys know Mimo because they have the small monitors at the airports where you walk up at the end of TSA and you look into the camera, that little monitor there that pulls up your picture. That's a Mimo.
Yep.
So,
and it even has most of the stuff we sell is not branded because of the industry we're in. That one has our brand, and our customer was fine with it. Unfortunately, it's sideways, but
yes. But like anytime, like if you know Mimo, you've seen them. This is it. So, well, very excited to see you at InfoComm. We will both see you in Orlando then, David. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.